Hi everyone, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. Today, since WarCry is now upon us, it is time to build us a, what are they, Doomspite, the Goblins, whatever they're called, I don't know. Anyway, my son has decided he wants a warband of Squig Hoppers and Boingrot Bounderz. So most of these models seem to come in at about 200 points, so with 5 models he's looking at a completed warband. I haven't actually ever put any of these new Squig models together, so this is kind of a first for me as well. I'm not going to be building them up as an Age of Sigmar unit, so they're going to be an eclectic mix of all types of squigs. But since we do have enough parts to make 10, what I'm hoping we can do is go 5 and 5, 5 Squig Hoppers, 5 Boingrot Bounderz, because looking at all the pieces here, I don't see anything that is unique to only one sprue. We have 2 of everything, so that should work, and that should make us able to have both a Squig Boss Hopper and the Boingrot Bounderz leader. So why don't we get started? We're going to build, since they're first up in the instructions anyway, we'll start with the Squig Hoppers, and we'll go from there. So the first thing you want to do is, regardless of what kind of Squig Hoppers or Bounders or Jumpers you're going to build, you need the core of the Squig. And each Squig is a body and a jumping leg for supporting it and a leaping leg in midair. One thing that is not very apparent on the instructions, and nowhere does it say it online, but if you are interested, all of these parts are universal. You'll see they have this kind of triangle plug here. They fit all the body types. So if you get them all mixed up, they will work together. You can build them however you want. You do not need to follow the instructions to the letter. Of course, it would help if I figured out how I'm trying to build it. Am I even on the right side? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to grab the glue. We're going to put those together, and then we'll move on to the faces. Come on, stupid Squig, go together. Please. I don't know what I'm doing. So the first thing you're going to need to do is put the Squig bodies together. Each Squig consists of the body itself and then a leg on the ground with something on the base to support it, and then a leaping foot as well. Now, I'm not 100% sure, and I haven't tried it myself yet, but I have a feeling, I wonder if you can actually take these parts and swap them around. For these guys, I'm just going to keep it kosher and build them as it says in the directions, but we'll go from there. So let me grab the glue and we'll get these guys started, and then we'll move on to the next part. We've got our bodies all put together, and like I was saying earlier, you can totally mix and match these things to your liking, whether they're in focus or not. Better. I don't even know if I actually built these correctly, but I noticed I was having a really difficult time actually attaching the legs, and yeah, I know I need to clean it up better. One of the things I realized was you have to pay attention to which way the curvature of the body goes, because you're going to attach the lower jaw, I'm sorry, not the lower jaw, the inner mouth. So that's the next step you're going to figure out, is you've got a variety of these inner mouths. It's got like a little parasite growing in there, you can see. Of course, the problem is you're not going to really see these once you've attached the faces. And then you're going to notice there's a nice little spot right here because I'm not actually going in the correct order. Once you've got the bodies built, you're going to then build the riders. And just like the bodies, the riders are all completely modular. You have your choice. They all have this little indentation where they're holding on to the Squig, and it's got a little keyed up hole, so you're going to glue that on first. Which rider doesn't really matter, and whether you're building the Hoppers or the Knights, that doesn't matter as well. And then basically you're going to glue the face on as such. And then, like I said, you've got a bunch of different inner mouths. They all attach on the lower point. Each of the bodies has these 2 contact points. So the lower one, it's got a more elongated slope there. That's where you're going to want to put that. And then you can build them however you like with whichever face after you've got the rider glued on. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to build those riders. I'm going to go ahead and attach them, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to do with them. So we're going to put the riders first, then the inner mouth, and then the face. So we've got our Squig riders just about finished up here. You'll notice that none of them have their faces yet, and that's mostly because I actually want to paint the inside of those mouths, even if you're not going to really see it. but then the face is just going to go like this. Now, I notice they don't have any heads or weapons yet, and again, that's because these guys are super duper modular. So I'm going to build the knights first, and they have an assortment of lances, and then we have a variety of helmeted heads, with the big one obviously being the boss. I don't know why these very much remind me of Labyrinth. I think the way their helmets look. So you have a selection of various helmets. I'm going to go with these and the lances, and we're going to get those all put together. And I went ahead and also built the Squig Hoppers, not herders. They're basically the same thing. They all have modular heads, so you can actually fit either or on the bodies. And then rather than having lances, the hoppers have an assortment of hand weapons here. Nothing exciting, especially if you're used to playing with goblins, very crude looking weapons. So we're going to go ahead and build those knights. We're going to get our regular hoppers started, and we will be all set. And you can see our Boingrot Bounderz warband is just about complete. Now, I haven't glued any of the faces, like I said, and you'll see some of them. I actually set them all up, and then their faces all fell off. I didn't mention that the boss does have a special mouth face for his squig. You can see it's more heavily toothy and armored. So I'll let my kid pick which faces he wants, so they're a bit more customized to his liking. But you know, I gotta say, these were a fun kit to build, and there is an awful lot of variety I think you can get, especially if you're gonna have both hoppers and the bounders. And if you're using these for WarCry, I mean, literally a box is gonna give you 2 warbands, or at least the flexibility to run a bit of variation between both boss types and whether or not you're gonna run bounders or hoppers. Because there is a difference, obviously, with the lances. They have a little bit longer reach, they have more defense, they've got more life, but they definitely have less movement capabilities. I want to say the lances don't do as much damage, or they roll less dice. There's a difference in the fighting, so there are differences in their stats. And then I went ahead and started working on the hoppers as well. Haven't put together the squigs for them, but I did get all my riders ready, so we'll go ahead and get those guys customized up. So again, you got a lot of fun variations I think you can get out of these guys, and I'm kind of curious. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm wondering, because I'm pretty sure that the actual Squig herd kit has a similar setup in that they have the faces and then the inner mouth part. So I'm kind of wondering if I can actually swap these with the squigs in the Squig herd, because if you can, that'd be kind of cool. So I have to dig that box out. I do have one somewhere, and I think between a Squig herd and this set, you pretty much are good to go for WarCry. And you've got a nice little mobile Squig Goblin Doomspite Gits army there as well. So kind of a fun kit. And I gotta say, I was really hesitant to pick these guys up at first. I thought, oh my god, those mushrooms and their bases, they look so delicate, they're totally gonna break. I gotta say, I feel like they're pretty sturdy. I was really surprised about that. I didn't think they would be, so consider me impressed in that regard. I wish his lance was a little bit higher, but I wanted to keep a nice center of balance on him. So I love the poses on these guys too. They look so goofy, but they also look kind of imposing when they're bouncing around ready to, you know, put the hurt on a human model here. And in case you are curious, they are on 32mm bases as opposed to the regular goblins on their 20mm bases. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see how they perform. I'm going to try to get them all painted because we're going to get together and play WarCry, hopefully before everybody has to go back to school and work. But whether or not these guys get used, or the Cypher Lords, or the Crows, I'm not sure. So we'll keep you posted on that. With that said, this is High Lord Tamerlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, and thanks for watching. We'll be back with more. Hopefully you guys will be too. See you later. Bye-bye.